So there I was giving birth to my first child, and I did die. It was very interesting. Once again, I'm a little person, and my first birth, I didn't, nobody can tell anybody else how it's going to be. So I just didn't think any of this was fairly odd, Anyway, I was in there and into the delivery room, and they were very worried. Jason, who was my firstborn child, was 7 pound 13 ounces. For a first baby was fairly heavy, etc. And it was happening, and I suddenly realised I was sitting on the high windowsill watching it happening. And everybody was panicking, and it was at Nambour Hospital, and they didn't want any, birth deaths of mothers or children, etc. And it was a teaching hospital, and I was watching as the bells were ringing, and every nursing staff, even from the main hospital, were coming in, and even the trainee nurses were coming in. They were all, it was like a huge crowd in that room. And I thought, well, this is, is this how it happens? And suddenly I turned and I looked, and I was looking outside the window at the pebble dash of the hospital, and this would be 2 stories high sort of thing. And I was looking at the pebble dash, and then I was gone. It was like as if I was falling back and to the light at the end of the tunnel. And there was this lovely androgynous being. For a start, I thought it was my grandmother, because of the curly hair sort of thing. And but it turned out to be, well, I suppose you could say an angel, whatever. And it was, and then I thought to myself, well, I addressed him like he was a he sort of thing, because he seemed to be more male than female. Also realising that my grandmother was still alive, so obviously it wasn't her, but it could have been some other relative from way back or whatever. But anyway, he took me, and I was aware that while I was talking to him, and he was telling me that it was okay, I could choose to stay or not, sort of thing. But he said, there's some people here, so he took me, and there were all these people, but there was a row of different people who were from different cultures, and who were obviously to guide me through my life. And then all of the other people, they were just the faces. And it went back, like forever, sort of thing. And in this day and age now, where I am now, and where I seem to be photographing a lot of orbs and things, I realised that it was like orbs, but the people's faces were in them. And so that the whole thing was like a wall of orbs behind. But they were all people who knew me from ever, sort of thing. But what I was most aware of was behind me was this most beautiful, loving light, and it was so bright. And I knew that if I decided to turn around, I was staying. And I didn't, because I wanted to go and raise my little son. So within that, and it was quicker than you could think. I mean, that certainly brought to my mind that telepathy is beyond fast, beyond the speed of light, beyond the speed of thought, really. And that it was, anyway, before I'd even formed the thought, and I was quite aware of this, because this registered to me as how fast this was, because I was so aware that I was going to say, no, I'll go back. And I thought it would be like I had arrived in a more unfurling manner, sort of thing. But anyway, before I thought of it, I was back in my body. I was back. the moment I actually formed the thought, well, I think I'll go back, while I was then back. And then I was aware that I was being, CPR, everything. It was huge. So that was my near-death experience. But it did change me. It stopped all fear about anything unknown in me. And that I'm grateful for that.